Well, a lot of people think doctors are Jesus Christ, and a lot of people think doctors are trying to like scam you and they're full of shit. I don't know. Wellness Week Live. What's up, everybody? I am DJ Tony Anthony. I'm not a doctor. I'm a DJ, so don't listen to me. This is our resident PhD in biochem, Dr. Magnus. Magnus, how are you?
I'm good. I'm a PhD and not an MD, so let's focus on that. So whatever we're saying, it's just two people talking to one another. We're not giving any medical, financial advice or anything. You need to check in with the people that you believe in and listen to what they have to say.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Magnus. So today we're talking about two topics. Number one, what are the limits of what doctors can and can't do? And number two, don't watch the news. We know it's bad news, but there's another reason why you shouldn't watch the news. Okay, so let's talk about the doctors. Now, I was talking to this person. I'm going to try to be as vague as possible to protect the innocent. But I was talking to this person, Magnus, a while back. And the person says to me, like the person was sick, right? And they weren't like dying, but they were ill, And, this person says, oh, I said, you sound pretty banged up. I go, if it doesn't clear up in 7 days or so, go to the doctor. No. Doctors, all they want to do is make money. I would never go. I'm like, what? I go, hold on. I was blown away. I'm like, listen, I'm not a huge fan of doctors either, but at some point I was like, listen, person, it's been 10 days. You're bleeding from your goddamn orifices. Okay, like you may want to see the doctor. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's no. I go to this homeopathic natural. I'm not against homeopathic natural doctors, but certain things like, hey, listen, you got meningitis, you dumb fuck. You gotta go to the doctor. No, this person was hardcore, right? Okay, but then you have the other spectrum, like my mother. The doctor is Jesus Christ. Whatever the doctor said, whatever they say is they're infallible. They never mess up. So you get two bookends here.
Yeah.
And so, and I know these two people. One I know very well, my mother. The other person is more of an acquaintance. But so I want to talk about that. What are the limits of what doctors and nurses, particularly doctors and PAs? What I think America's probably. I think most Americans probably lean more towards the doctor is Jesus Christ. What do you think, Magnus?
Yeah, no, I mean, doctors specialize in certain things, right? And not even that. Some are general physicians, and there's a difference between like doctors take care of sick people. They're usually not that good on giving healthy advice and how you should kind of like improve your health through your lifestyle. And that's basically what you nail on. If you have like an emergency, things like that, our healthcare system, or at least like the doctors, are tremendous at doing like trauma work, actually fixing a broken bone. If you have things like that, the things that I have a little bit harder things to deal with is it's more things that are lifestyle related, that you basically have to be a detective and start looking into it. And that takes time. Doctors don't have time. Usually, what is it that like the average of things, something like that for a doctor? I think it's less than 7 minutes per patient that they're seeing.
Correct. Yeah. But these damn doctors though, they can't tell you here's a business card or here's a number for a nutritionist or dietitian or a trainer. They won't do that. Well, they'll write that script for those pills, boy, 100% of the time. Listen, I don't know about you, Magnus. I'm 49. I go to my doctor every year for my physical. I'm not doctor shy. I'm all about go to the dentist, go to the doctor. I have a cardiologist. I have an internist. I'm all okay. And so what I'm about to say is I'm 49. I've been going to pediatricians since I was a newborn. Like I'm not one of these kooks that's like never go to the doctor. But I've never in my life, never, ever, never. And I've seen, I don't even know now, maybe over 100 doctors in my life, over 100 doctors in my life. Not one has ever been like, let me give you the number to a nutritionist or a dietitian or a trainer. Because when I had high cholesterol, my doctor was like, hey, it's a pill. I'm like, wait, hold on, dude. You didn't even asking me what do I eat. Like at the time, I was eating like shit lard crap.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit. It's like, and I'm not asking the doctor to spend over 7 minutes with me. But in the 7 minutes, just say, hey, look, here's a dietitian, okay? Here's a number, or here's a nutritionist number, or here's a they don't do that. So this is why I think they get a bad rap with preventative measures,
But Anthony, remember, you are probably more educated about health than the general population. The thing is, a lot of people don't know that it is more a lifestyle related things, and most people just want that magic pill so they continue doing whatever they're
No,
doing
but
right
I
now.
agree. But why don't the doctors then say, "Look, here's a number of a dietitian or a nutritionist." By the way, here's why: because I don't think most doctors know it. They were saying something like, in a doctor's lifetime, they get about 3 hours of nutritional education.
Mostly it's under 2 weeks during their education, and they really don't have to do any like go in depth courses afterwards either. Of course, there's many doctors that do and are tremendous at nutrition and
Rare,
lifestyle.
rare.
Yeah, but it's rare. Usually, they're specialists. You have to dig them out. You might have to pay out of pocket and so on.
Right.
And that usually scares people off. You know, you don't want to pay anything. You want to take, like, the insurance company takes care of it and things like that. You're paying insurance and all that, so you're still spending a whole lot of money, but you might not spend that money on what you actually do need. Again, not medical advice. Always go to the doctor if there's something that you need, like you're sick, you have a high fever, whatever it is. I mean, there's things that nutrition definitely can't help out with, that you need to go to see the doctor too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, listen, by the way, my mother and father are both cancer survivors, right?
yeah.
And like I said, like, I almost don't blame the doctors, because they know nothing. Very, very few doctors know anything about lifestyle and nutrition.
Yeah.
They know moderation and exercise. They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. Like I said, they're good at acute management, repair stuff, 100%. But like, the thing that pissed me off is my mom and dad are both cancer survivors, right? So what goes on after they beat cancer? The doctors didn't say shit to them about it's mind-boggling to me, and it kind of pisses me off, because it's like, hey, you're a doctor, you're in charge of my parents' life and health, and you didn't tell them to get off the shit food. You didn't tell them to, you didn't have a serious talk. You were just like, yeah, here's some pills, and it was just like, and anybody who's getting, anybody, whether you have cancer or not, but especially if you're getting over a disease like cancer, it's like, you need to get your fucking diet straight. Like,
Yeah.
part of the reason, I'm not saying every cancer, but I would say most cancers, not all, but most cancers can be traced back to shitty friggin' lifestyle. And you think the doctors would be like, let's tighten up this ship as much as possible. And here's a nutritionist or dietitian's phone number. Here's a trainer's phone number. You got to do this because your life hangs in the balance and you want to have every advantage. Why not? Instead of just saying, here's the pills and eat right. It's
but Anthony, this is pretty much like, I always compare, for instance, like talking like a professional sports, like NFL, for instance. Usually they are way more like reactive and not proactive, and I think that has a lot to do with our like the health industry now too. We're always reacting to certain things instead of being proactive. The proactive part seldom gets put in the spotlight, and is usually put aside. I think though, like, my feeling is that this is slowly starting to change, because more and more research is pointing on how important lifestyle is to beat a lot of these diseases,
right,
and live healthier and things like that. It's just that the wheel is so slow to move.
Yeah,
the whole industry is slow, so it takes something that people actually could like already find a lot of data and information about right now. It takes at least 10 years before it actually shows up in by a lot of doctors. And then they also need to constantly like educate themselves and re-educate themselves.
Yeah. I mean, right, and they're being listened to, right? They get being supplied and backed up by big pharma, right? That's the lobbyist. The big pharma has a bigger lobbyist than the celery and carrot lobbyists. I mean,
for sure. Because that's how you make money. You don't make much money on selling carrots and celery. You make more money on selling drugs that you can promote, and you also, again, I mean, like when that's so interesting when I hear all these commercials about pharmaceuticals, and also it's also like scripted pharmaceuticals, all the side effects.
Oh,
that they go like they go through like super
bro.
fast. The guy is like a crazy rappers that shoot that off.
You have, I mean, it is fucking crazy because you have side effects for certain drugs that are like for skin disorders. We're not
Yeah.
talking, and don't get me wrong, skin disorder. Nobody wants a skin disorder. I get it, but I'm trying to be vague here because I don't want to name names. But one of the side effects to this particular drug that you take for a skin disorder is lymphoma, fucking cancer. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Like the balls on the doctor to refer someone to take this shit, like skin disorder is really bad, but you know what? Lymphoma's worse. Like, I mean, like, fuck, really?
But that also shows you sometimes like the vanity of people, like they don't care about actually dying. They care.
Yeah, bro, they don't even know.
The
doctors do know. Shame on them, but you know,
they just want to leave a nice looking corpse at the end of the day.
Right.
So no, but it is because this is unfortunate because it sounds like we're shitting on MDs and everybody. It's like they're doing such a tremendous job. I have so much respect for them, and then like without them, there would be many more people dying.
Of course.
So,
and I think
but it comes down to this. I think that we need to be a little bit more of an open book. We need to be able to support and help one another. And like one of the best things to show that you're really a trustworthy like expert in the field or something like that is actually pointing people to other experts. It's like, hey, this is not my wheelhouse. I'd rather have you talk to this person.
Right.
That shows you that you are an intelligent person. You know your limitations, and you're willing to help the individual, like the patient or the client or whatever you want to talk about, and actually have them like live a better, healthier life, right? And a long life.
Yeah.
So I think that but a lot of the myth behind MDs and like is that they are experts in everything. They know everything about health. They know everything about how to live. They know how to what cars to buy. They know what houses to buy. Well, if you're a doctor and you're able to pay off your loans and able to be successful, you will make a lot of money, but that doesn't mean that you're good at it. It's the same thing. Like if you have an issue with your plumbing in your bathroom, are you calling the car mechanic to take care of it?
Of course not. Yeah. But by the way, and to your point, of course, you know, and I think we are better off leaning more towards being in favor of doctors than the cuckoo person that I know that's like, I would never see a doctor. That's fucking asinine. You know, and again, I have my internist, I get my physical once a year, I've got my colonoscopy, all that shit. 100%. We're better for the doctors that we have here in our country and worldwide. No doubt about that. But, you know, again, I think our doctors have limits, and we have to question because our doctors work for us. We don't work for them. But of course, I agree with you. I mean, look, I think if you're going to lean any which way, I think we're better off leaning towards our doctors, not away from our doctors.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, generally speaking. But anyway, okay. So let's move on to the next thing.
Yes, sir.
About health. The news. I mean, noise. Sorry. You know, we've done a show, you and I think once before, about how, you know, the news is negative news. That's easy. But I want to tell you this story. Now, this is how fucked up the news is. Okay. When they're not actively pitting us against each other, which is, you know, or it's always death, or bad things. That's obvious. You know, it's a cesspool of shit, the news. However, this is one that was interesting. So, and this is by you actually. So the news on both sides, the left and right, they all released a news article recently saying that, you know, Whole Foods is closing down one of its flagship stores in San Francisco. And they said they're doing that because they heard from, you know, whatever people in the reporting that it's because of the homeless and the drug addicts and people stealing. And that's why that they're closing this Whole Foods in San Francisco. So, you know, I was like, oh shit, wow, that's messed up. Yeah. Well, come to find out, after doing a little digging myself and seeing and reading and you know, listening to other people and just doing some reading, turns out, you see, the San Francisco Whole Foods is not closing down because of the homeless and the thieves and the drug addicts. That's not why they're closing down. Now, that is a problem. Yes, it's a correlation, but it's not the causation. The causation of the San Francisco Whole Foods shutting down last week is because Whole Foods planted and they built the Whole Foods in that particular section of San Francisco, anticipating, okay, that big tech and some of the big tech companies were going to open up huge offices around the area of Whole Foods. Now that didn't happen.
COVID,
right? But that's why Whole Foods is shutting down. It's not because of the homeless and the drug addicts.
They're not making enough money.
Right. But see, shame on the news for not either they didn't know, they didn't do their homework. They're all shitty reporters, or they know it and they withheld it, which is even more dubious and bad.
Yeah.
So either way, it's real shitty work from the news, because the news, here they go again. They pitted the homeless and the drug addicts. And yes, okay, bad people, thieves, stealing, but that's not the reason why they're closing. The reason why is because big tech was supposed to open offices all around Whole Foods in San Francisco, but they didn't. That's the reason, but they didn't tell anybody that. And so, it's just like, wow, they can't even do their job. So I'm like, double barrels, man. Like, I'm not even, I tell you, if someone's like when someone says they work for one of these major outlets, I think, in my opinion, it's almost kind of embarrassing nowadays. It's kind of like, I wouldn't be too proud of that. I mean, like, and kudos to the reporters and the news outlets that did get it right, which was few. But anyways, my point is, the news is so fucking toxic. What do you?
It's only negative. Like they using a lot of the news aren't stupid, and the people that are producing the actual like newscast and program and things like that, they're extremely smart people because they work with a lot of psychology, right? Fear is one of the strongest kind of emotions that we have. And it's very, very easy to use fear to kind of manipulate people. So most of the news are going to be negative on how bad things are and that the world is falling apart. All people are bad. There's no good people out there. Maybe a couple, and then they're on our team A or team B or whatever it is, right? So that's a couple of things that they're doing. And the negative part is that when you're watching, again, it's a lot about this kind of clickbait or whatever we're supposed to call it. And it's also the constants about like changing directions all the time. There's seldom a newscast that goes into detail and actually talk about a specific issue or situation or whatnot or news for a long time. It's usually just quick and then we're changing directions, or we have experts coming in and they have leading questions. They're never allowed to talk, like actually have a conversation and actually like go in depth on what they're actually trying to say, because it's like you have to go quick, next thing. And a lot of that is stressful, and it's constantly like moving around that okay, this is bad. I mean, we're constantly bombarded with negativity, and emotionally. I mean, that has an effect on us, in both mentally and physically. And I know that people said, "Oh, I have to watch the news." I mean, they're watching news until like in after midnight,
right? But it's not even news. It's just a perpetual negative, hurting you. It's right, giving you half of the story, and both sides do it. No side gives you the full story. So you're not really watching news. You're not being educated. You're only seeing 1%. If you really want to get educated, you got to go on your own and read. And anyways, it's sad.
And it hurts our health. I think you said one of the important things, that you have to start reading, and you also have to start reading on several different like media platforms. So you have to look into different like web pages, different news sources. So basically going maybe to for us that lives in the States, going to a British or another European or someone in Asia and things like that, to actually get more information, to see what parts are overlapping, what can I believe in, right, and what are basically feels a little bit more make-believe than anything else, than actual news.
Yeah, for sure. And the news, these negative Nellies, they only give you the negative. They don't give you any solutions or how to better, it's just so bad. Anyways, if you want to improve your health, limit your noise. I mean, news watching to honestly 10 minutes in a day. That's it, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say like 15, 20 minutes tops, and then move on. And I think like if you're instead like reading newspapers and things like that, even if they're like online, that's probably a little bit better. But don't dwell too much in news. Most of the things is like you can't really control it, and a lot of the things you can't even like you don't know the actual truth about it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't watch it. It's up to you as an individual. But for health reasons, because of the stress and everything, I always tell like my clients to like don't watch too much news, and especially at night before going
you can't watch it before you go to bed. No.
Yeah, because then adrenaline spikes, stress, everything like shoots straight up. That's gonna keep you awake. You're gonna toss and turn all night. 100%. So I would say it's a little bit like with like when we're talking about coffee, you should probably like stay away from it for at least like maybe 3, 4, 6 hours before going to bed. So try to move that aside and don't listen too much about it, because again, like the important news to usually get a hold of in any way or form anyway. So
yep, no, you're right, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Anything else before we wrap up, Magnus?
No, like really fun questions again. Like it's yeah, and hopefully it helps someone. So again, like go to your MD when you're sick, things like that. If you need like health, like lifetime changes, you should probably seek out another expert. When it comes to news, skip most of it. You will be feeling way more better and probably more educated too.
That's right. Watch Wellness Week. That's it. So anyways, all right, Magnus, thank you, everybody. Hey, don't forget, share it with somebody you love. All right, folks. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Magnus.
Subscribe, like, you know the drill.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, I'm signing
off.
5, 4, 3.